Hi, Jim Benson here from Modus Cooperandi and Modus Institute, and this is a pro tip about value stream mapping and value stream mapping exercises for knowledge work. And I just wanted to make two kind of weird points about value streams and value stream mapping. One is that they can be used as a negotiation tool, and the other is that they bridge the gap between accountability models and responsibility models. So let's see if I can do this in 10 minutes. So the first thing that we want to do with our value stream mapping exercise is we want to just very quickly get in and just talk about how it's done. So what we do is we get together a group of people who work together. We've done this with groups that have worked together for decades and say to them one simple question. What do you do to get your work done? And they start off by listing the things that they do to get their work done. And then they're shocked by the discrepancies that my expectations or my assumptions about what you do are very different than what you actually do and vice versa. And that becomes quite a problem because we work together. And so when we're working, collaborating, having handoffs, when something goes wrong, it's very easy to blame other people when you are ignorant of what is actually going on. So we get politics, which creates fear, which creates less likelihood that we're going to talk about problems, and more ignorance. So ignorance is born of fear, hate is born of ignorance, which is born of fear. So we want to get rid of that in the workplace, create a happy, enjoyable, professional atmosphere where professionals can actually get their work done. So what does a value stream mapping exercise look like? How quickly can I do this in a 10-minute video? So we start at the end. So in this case, for a video, we're going to make the video public. And then what do we do before that? Well, we add supporting text to the thing that we're putting in. And then before that, we'll do the final cut. And then before that, we'll do some post-production. And then before that, we'll shoot some roughs. And then somebody say, well, actually at that same time, we're also kind of adding the flyouts. So that kind of goes in there during the post-production phase. And somebody will say, well, and then, we write a script. And somebody say, well, no, I just actually don't write a script. I just get in and talk to the camera. And then there are all of these other things that might happen before then. And what happens as we go along, we have those conversations where people are like, I know this happens next. And somebody say, not so fast. And each time we learn something about that, we not only learn about how we work, but how we relate to each other, what other people need from us, where we can help them, when we can help them, why they would need help, how we can learn together, where we can collaborate better, and so forth. Then we can also start to notice areas where there are problems with different things. And we can start to say things like, okay, well, we know that there are all of these problems, and then we can start to come up with ways to solve those problems. So we figure out ways that we can work together. And I don't know what that one was solving. So then we also want to do something else in knowledge work. So this is a fairly standard method for doing a value stream mapping exercise like in manufacturing. And then when you're done, because you're in manufacturing, you can go to the shop floor and you can say, okay, I see how this is actually working. Well, in knowledge work, it's all in our heads, so we can't see that. So this board also has to tell us some other things that the assembly lines might not. And one of the biggest ones for that is, where do we collaborate? So we put a collaboration phase in there that says, okay, well, before we film the video, Jim and Tony Ann should get together and collaborate and bounce ideas off of each other. Before these go out to actually make them public, we should have a review team go over them, make sure that they agree with everything that's in the video. So what we're doing there is we're building a system that, like I said at the beginning, starts to create a responsibility model. Everyone now knows kind of what's going on. They can see what is happening, especially if we make this into a Kanban or a personal Kanban. And We can build a visual system that triggers actions in people so they know what to do and when. And the interesting story that I want to tell about this is just VSM as a negotiation tool. So knowledge work is largely made up of human beings using their brain to transform some raw information into a product. And that can be the design for a house, or it can be an insurance policy, or it can be software. It can be, any number of millions of things. And as we get more into a digital age, even the shop floor is becoming more knowledge work oriented with 3D printers and things like that, where we can change the design of something literally in seconds that previously you would have had to retool an entire line to do. So negotiation becomes a funny thing. So while you're doing this just as part of a team, and as one person, I can say, well, when I do this, everything's fine. And the other person who comes next was going to say, no, when I get stuff from you, it has all sorts of problems. And then I have to fix them. And the other person's like, I never knew. Or you have a big gap here where something doesn't happen. And it turns out that maybe something did need to happen there. that there's actually a gap in how you work together. And we call this process, but what it actually is culture. It's how different professionals work together, treat each other with respect, communicate, get work out, communicate with the customers and with management and with other teams. And also, as a negotiation tool, I should mention, between us and other teams. So let's just say, for example, that we're in a big company and the review team is another team, and we never talk to them. We hate their guts, right? So we just never talk to them. We didn't even put them in here, and then maybe they'd say like, well, maybe they go out here. But what was really happening is my team has now become a silo, and this is a silo, and we have to figure out ways to work together to make sure that when this thing gets to the public, it is the best possible instantiation of that it can be. That I feel good about it, that the review team feels good about it, that everyone feels a sense of professional satisfaction with that. So one of the other interesting things is we've worked in fields where there are lots of different professionals that need to get something done, and they work for different companies. So construction or engineering, healthcare even, there's often different organizations that come together to deliver a product, and often they're at war with each other because they're all trying to optimize for themselves. And what ends up happening is their massive actions to make life better for themselves make life crappy for everyone, including themselves. So if we get together and do a value stream map that says, here's our company, here's your company, here's the other company, and here's how stuff flows back and forth, or, here's how we're interlaced through this whole product or this whole system, then people can see, oh, this is where we're causing ourselves headaches. This is where we're costing money. This is where we're creating delays. And that negotiation aspect is so fun. It's so fun to watch it happen, because it's not like arbitration where you're sitting there and each is presenting their case. The people are actually building this model of the work together, and then they're just seeing where there are breakdowns. And you can't hide from them. And once you see them, you don't want to hide from them. They're like, oh, crap. I'm causing my own pain. maybe I should stop that. And I'm causing you pain. Maybe if I caused you less pain, you might want to cause me less pain, And when we get to that, then we cross this boundary. Accountability, which is I'm a person giving you something and you damn well better give it back to me. That is a zero-sum game model. That is a model that is basically based on distrust and will always result in additional overhead. It is expensive not to have a system of trust. Responsibility, we all see what needs to be done, and we start to figure out ways to do those things together, allows us as professionals to constantly be making our way of working less stressful for everyone that's involved, including the customer. So a value stream map in knowledge work isn't just trying to like make things happen faster or with less defects. It's trying to make things happen better for everyone that's involved. At Modus Institute, we have a class on value stream mapping that goes deep into this. This is a foundational element of our Lean Agile Visual Management certification and accreditation. And then, of course, we do this as consultants. So I hope this gives people enough information to actually go out and play with this. If you'd like our help, just let us know. There are links below.